Good evening. Today I'd like to address a topic that has been overlooked for far too long. The Tulsa Race Massacres of 1921, or also known as the Tulsa Race Riots. This tragedy was one of the worst instances of racial violence in U.S. history, with mobs of white residents attacking black residents of the Greenwood District, Tulsa, Oklahoma. For too long, the stories of those affected by this incident have gone overlooked and untold, and the lasting effects of these events are still felt today. It is crucial that we acknowledge and reckon with these violent events in our national history to truly move forward as a nation. That is the Greenwood District being burnt in the back. This is a postcard that I assume they took as a trophy. It says, "Running the Negro out of Tulsa." Some kind of trophy for their barbaric actions, which I don't think is anything to be proud of, personally. But the events of May 31st and June 1st left hundreds dead and thousands homeless. The survivors of the massacre were left to rebuild their shattered dreams and lives. Tulsa Massacre survivor Kenny Booker was 8 at the time of the incident. He recalled a man pleading to the rioters, "Please do not burn my house. Please do not set my house on fire," which was wishful thinking, as for everything around was already on fire. All of their hard work went up in flames, only to have their voices silenced as the massacre was ignored by larger national conversations. It is time for us to start listening to their stories and truly acknowledging the intergenerational trauma that has resulted from these events. Another survivor, Eldoris McCondich, says, "On that night, she remembers planes and bullets raining all around them." Now imagine 9-year-old you waking up in a battlefield, because that's what it sounds like without context, a battlefield. You would think that's war. What would you think? That would be a scary sight, to be honest. I couldn't even imagine that. We can only envision. Eldora says that they rarely discuss anything about the massacre after it happened because of fear and fear of being discredited by the police. They had to keep the nightmare to themselves. This is the only known burial spot for the victims of that fatal event. Other accounts have been said to see people being dumped into the river, bodies. Yes. There were only 2 confirmed graves for the victims out of 300, and even that is just a mild guess. J. Calvin Ross, a local Tulsa writer and descendant of the massacre victims, says that we have to find and put the victims to rest, or we'll continue to be haunted by the tragic event. As you can see, this is a man assessing the damage, which is basically just ashes and rubble. Just sad to see. And acknowledging the Tulsa race massacre, we cannot excuse or justify the events that occurred, but by recognizing the atrocities, we can begin to address the systematic racism and violence that has persisted for this generation. It is only through confronting the past, that we can build a better future for our children and grandchildren. I urge you all to take the time to learn more about the tragedy and to continue to fight against injustices that still exist in our country today. Black lives matter, and we must do everything in our power to make sure that all people are treated with dignity and respect they deserve. Thank you.